everybody.
Welcome to the PDX files. Each week we dive into the weird and the unexplained here in the Pacific Northwest and beyond. My name is producer John.
And I'm Peej.
No, you're not. You're Mac. No, it's the uh the AI, note taking keeps saying I'm called Peach, but it's Peej, which is
Jesus.
short for producer John, which is not even
Yeah.
my real name, but
Well, you used to go by that a long time ago. I think you did.
I've gone by that for a while now, on our other podcast. So
Yeah. Yeah. Indeed.
But like I said, welcome to PDX Files. Each week we dive into the weird and the unexplained here in the Pacific Northwest and beyond. How you doing, Mac?
Pretty good. It's the start of summer here in the Portland area. We're really in kind of enjoying that time period. It's been a little bit hot, a little bit cold, but what we can't really deny is there's a lot of interesting things that have happened in this area that we haven't really covered just yet. And so in this episode, I think we might dive a bit into that.
Yeah, I'm really glad we're coming back to Portland, Oregon. Again, the basically the impetus for this channel. And without, well, actually, I should say that I've not seen this video, and so my responses will be authentic. Without further ado, let's dive into it.
Craft beer, food carts, bridges, and a personality
Yep.
that screams, "Keep it weird." But behind all that, this city has been quietly sitting on some of the darkest, strangest, most jaw-dropping unsolved stories in American history. Today we're counting down the top 20 greatest unsolved mysteries of Portland, Oregon. Mystery
But
number
only the ones that we select.
Forest Grove, Sounds. In 2016, residents of Forest Grove, a small, otherwise uneventful town just west of Portland, began hearing something they couldn't explain. A high-pitched shrieking noise, not a car alarm, not a train. Something that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere all at once. People described it as a metallic screech, like a train wheel grinding hard against a rail at full speed. Except there were no trains nearby. Multiple residents managed to record the sound on their phones. The recordings spread quickly online, and experts, journalists, and curious strangers came calling. None of them left with an answer. What made the recordings particularly strange was the consistency. Different people, different parts of town, different times of day, all capturing essentially the same sound. Local officials were contacted. A gas company was called out to inspect underground lines. Seismologists were consulted. Nobody produced a satisfying culprit. Theories ranged from geological pressure in the earth to underground water movement to some kind of industrial equipment nobody could locate. One theory proposed that pipes within the city's water distribution system were resonating under certain pressure conditions. Another suggested the sound was carried from a distant industrial site by the specific atmospheric conditions of the Tualatin Valley. Neither theory was ever confirmed or ruled out definitively. The sound eventually stopped on its own, which is almost more unsettling than if it had kept going. At least if it had continued, someone might have traced it. Instead, it just ceased, leaving behind a stack of recordings and no resolution. The audio is still out there if you want something to listen to the next time you can't sleep.
I never heard of that before in this area. However, it sounds very similar to the what's the one in the
The
god
sky, the
the
sky trumpets.
the sky trumpets. It's very similar to that. I mean, that's possible, certainly. I mean, I don't like the AI or the AI thing saying it was what Tualatin weird thing.
Tualatin. So it's actually it was supposed to be
Yeah,
Tualatin.
yeah, and it's Oregon, not Oregon, by the way. So let's sort of keep that clear. But I wouldn't be surprised if there's something like that going on around there. And again, it could be a natural occurrence. It's the first time I've ever heard of it, and it seemed like it was. They said 2021, I think, is when they maybe first heard it. It's not something that's going to be going on for a long time. So it has a little bit of realism as far as that goes. Like maybe it's a more recent kind of thing that's been going on, but I don't know. Just sort of leave it at that, I guess.
Well, I'm disappointed that the video did not actually, show or actually provide the sound that the video supposedly captured.
Yeah, yeah,
But
but I mean, again, I would not be surprised at all if something like that was heard out there and completely explainable.
in Forest Grove.
Oh, yeah, Forest Grove.
All right, I'll definitely have to look that up because if it does sound like the Sky Trumpets, hey, it's here in America and it's in our neck of the woods.
Indeed.
All right, here's the next clip.
Lone Fir Cemetery, the bodies nobody knew about. Portland's
Hmm.
oldest cemetery, Lone Fir, opened in the mid-1800s and holds around 25,000 graves. About
Oh,
10,000 of them are unidentifiable. That alone should give you pause. But here's where it
for
gets
what?
strange. In 1947, Multnomah County removed 265 Chinese immigrant
Oh,
graves from what was known as Block 14. The remains were supposed to be sent back to China. Some were not, just quietly forgotten and eventually built over. Then,
Oh,
in 2004, an archaeological study uncovered that at least two of those individuals had never left the ground. And when the city removed a storage building from that area in 2007, archaeologists discovered 50 additional bodies.
no.
Mental cases
what?
from what had been Dr. James Hawthorne's Oregon Hospital for the Insane.
There's
50.
a Hawthorne
Nobody
Boulevard
knew
in
they were
Portland.
there. Nobody knows exactly who they all are. The eastern edge of Lone Fir remains sectioned off to this day.
That's pretty messed up. I actually didn't know that
Neither did I.
about our area. I mean, we're starting to learn a little bit of stuff that we didn't know, but I mean, the fact that there was, some of them have been sent back to China allegedly, and now we're talking about like 50 bodies and plus whatever that wasn't. That could be a poltergeist type of situation if we're not careful.
No, 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 no. The 50 bodies were related to the insane asylum
Oh, was that different? Okay, yeah,
situation. That was
sorry.
different.
It's still fucked up. I mean,
It's
that's
still
not a
no,
good situation.
it's still fucked up because obviously we don't know the identities of those 50 bodies, right?
Yeah, but I mean, that makes me want to go visit the Lone Fir Cemetery even more now. I have heard of it before, ish, kind of on the periphery. I wasn't sure about it, but now that I've heard about sort of the issues that are going on there, I definitely want to go visit, even if we don't have any equipment. Let's just go check it out.
True that. And the people watching and the people listening may not have heard it at the top, but we're not doing 20. So this is a curated
Yeah,
list, curated by
we're,
Mac.
we're kind of picking the ones out that haven't been covered by us already, so we didn't want to like go back over the same things. But also, some of them is like I haven't heard of some of these before, so this is kind of interesting.
All right, here's the next one.
Pittock Mansion.
I
The
mean, this one we
owners
have
were
heard of it, we haven't
believed.
covered, so that's
Henry
fair.
Pittock was one of the most influential men in Portland's history. He built an empire running the Oregonian newspaper and had a 46-room French Renaissance mansion constructed in the West Hills in 1914, sitting about 1,000 feet above the city. Both Henry and his wife Georgiana died within a year of each other. Georgiana in
Hmm.
1918, Henry in 1919. The mansion sat largely unused for decades, nearly demolished after the 1962 Columbus Day storm. The community
Hmm.
rallied, raised funds, and the city purchased it for $225,000 in 1964. Since it opened to the public in 1965, staff and visitors have reported things they'd rather not talk about at work. Windows that close themselves, furniture that sounds like it's being moved in empty rooms, figures in period dress observed in the bedrooms and the basement. Henry and Georgiana's presence, according to those who've experienced it, seems to be protective. They're not hostile. They just never really left. Whether
Mm.
that's paranoia or something else is the question nobody has answered.
I mean, I think that the Pitting Mansion has never been known as like a violent kind of like haunting. It's always been kind of a sweet kind of place, and I feel like you look, you got the wife who died about a year before the other guy died. That seems about right for somebody who's in love. And they're not. It's not a mean place. It's like it's just hey, this is our house. Don't fuck around with our shit. Just stay on the pathway and sort of look at all the scenery. But I feel like that, and it's but although there's some of it that is kind of like a residual. There's like certain things going on there. It seems like it was a pretty happy place. I don't know the Pittocks. I don't know their history, to be honest with you. And I've lived here for most of my life, but it doesn't seem like that's a bad place, but an interesting place as far as that goes.
Yeah, and the Piddock Mansion did show up at on one of our videos that we of Portland that we covered, but it was only just the Georgiana or the woman of
Right.
the house that was
Yeah.
included. I did not know that there were all these other ghostly encounters involved in the Piddock. But yes, I would agree with you that the Piddock Mansion itself, even just in casual mentions here in town, had never had any kind of like evil, you know, energy attached to it or anything of that sort. So
Yeah.
I'm glad. First of all, I'm glad that it still exists. Although I'm not really sure why the city would purchase it. Maybe just because hey, we can make money out of this. Maybe I don't know.
That's what I think.
All right, here's the next one.
The screams at Cathedral Park. If you visit Cathedral Park in North Portland on a warm summer night, there's a chance you might hear something. People have been reporting it for decades. A woman's voice, screaming, coming from the direction of the Willamette River.
Oh.
In 1949,
Uh,
a 15-year-old girl named Thelma Taylor was kidnapped from a bus stop in the St. John's neighborhood in the early morning hours of August 5th. Her abductor, a 22-year-old ex-convict named Morris Leland, held her near the river overnight and murdered her the following morning when she began screaming for help after hearing workers at a nearby rail yard. Leland was arrested days later on an unrelated car theft charge and immediately confessed. He was convicted and executed in the gas chamber at the Oregon State Penitentiary on January 9th, 1953. The murder was solved. The killer is long dead. And yet the screams people say haven't stopped. "Oh yeah, I've been down there at night and I've heard her scream for help," said a longtime St. John neighborhood resident known as Patty, who was interviewed by a local news station years after the case concluded. "You know, help me, somebody please help me." Paranormal explanation, acoustics, suggestion, mass psychology. Nobody's been able to nail it down. The park is still beautiful in the daytime. At night, it's something else.
yeah, I mean, I think that one, I don't think we've really discussed that one, but that is like a kind of well known in the area kind of a place where there are different, there's a various stories about ghosts and sounds and, um, appearances. I think that, and it kind of makes sense. I mean, the thing of it is that the St. John's Bridge is like a beautiful looking bridge. It's kind of gothic looking in a certain way. So I think it gives people like a certain mindset, and I can see, and it's kind of like in this kind of flat area around the Willamette River, not the Willamette or whatever the guy called it, to where I can see like echoes coming down and like, oh my god, that sounds like a ghost or somebody screaming. However, that doesn't necessarily negate some of the stories and the things that actually happened there.
Yeah, I think one of the stories that I've heard of the Cathedral Park, one of the ghost stories I've heard at Cathedral Park is involves actually a headless entity, but
Oh, that's
ever
right. Yeah,
and the screaming girl. But to be honest, I mean, especially over the last 10 years, it could also just be houseless people and a houseless woman who's just screaming as well. I mean, certainly nothing,
it's been
who's
going on
yelling.
longer than that.
Nobody who's yelling "Help me" should be ignored, but it's possible that it could be
Yeah,
corporeal versus not.
yeah, true.
All right, here goes the next one.
Tim Moreau and the Roseland Theater. In
And this one I
1980,
don't think I've
a
heard of this one.
28-year-old publicity agent named Timothy Moreau was murdered inside the Roseland Theater in downtown Portland. The venue's then owner strangled him with a microphone cord.
Jeez.
The perpetrator was eventually convicted, so the crime itself isn't what remains unsolved. What has baffled people for more than 3 decades is what's happened at that theater since. Staff and visitors have reported seeing a face in the upper windows when the building is locked and empty. Strange sounds appear when there's no show. Shadow figures have been spotted in the back of the house. And here's the part that stands out. The paranormal activity reportedly decreases during live performances, as if whoever, or whatever, is in that building actually settles in to enjoy the music. No rational explanation has ever been offered for the activity. Whether Moreau's presence lingers, or whether something else entirely has taken up residence there, the Roseland remains one of Portland's most persistently strange locations.
I mean, that sounds like a bunch of BS, to be honest with you. You know, the guy likes when the music starts playing, and so he sort of gives up on. Was he like moshing at that point? I don't
Yeah,
know.
no.
I have heard of the Roseland mentioned before, but not in the specific way that they were talking about. So to me, I don't know. That is the least compelling so far of everything that we've heard.
Well, I should state that the Roseland Theater was never and it was never mentioned while we were actively doing paranormal investigations that I can
Oh, that's
remember.
true, but I have heard of it before as being like, I guess any theater ish. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
somebody died. They like OD'd there. I mean, there's been all sorts of like different like rumors I've heard about it. But as far as that story goes, it seems like okay, he's chilling when there's music being played. I mean, it seems like the best opportunity for him to get the biggest audience if he was really that kind of guy. I don't know. It just
Wow,
probably not. I would say.
I didn't realize that it opened in 1922 and
Oh yeah, been a long time.
as a
Yeah,
church. Wow, okay.
I didn't know that
Interesting.
part either. Yeah, that's interesting. We're learning things
We're
tonight.
learning things here, people. It's not just you. All right, here's the next one.
Kyron Horman. On June 4th, 2010, a 7-year-old boy named Kyron Horman went to Skyline Elementary School in northwest Portland for the science fair. He was wearing a black CSI t-shirt. He had blue eyes, brown hair, glasses, and a strawberry-shaped birthmark on his forehead. His stepmother, Terry Horman, dropped him off that morning and took a photograph of him standing with his science project, a display about red-eyed tree frogs, his favorite animal. At some
It's a
point that
good topic.
morning, Kyron walked out of that school and was never seen again. His teacher had been told he had a doctor's appointment, so nobody questioned his absence when he failed to show up for class. When Kyron didn't come home on the school bus that afternoon, his father, Caney Horman, went to the bus stop and learned his son hadn't boarded. The bus driver looked a little confused, Caney later recalled. That's when the ensuing panic kind of kicks in. More than 1,300 volunteers and law enforcement personnel from Oregon, Washington, and California participated in the search that followed, the largest single search effort in Oregon history. It turned into a criminal investigation within days. Investigators focused scrutiny on Terry Horman after she failed 2 polygraph examinations, showed inconsistencies in her account of that morning, and after a landscaper she had previously hired came forward claiming that roughly 6 months before Kyron disappeared, she had offered him money to kill her husband. She was never charged. Phone records placed her device pinging towers near Highway 30, an area known locally as a road less traveled, during the window in question. Kyron's mother, Desiree Young, has
Nobody
never
calls it
stopped
that.
advocating. It's been a passion of mine to do as much as I can to keep this case moving forward, she has said. A $50,000 reward remains active. In 2025, the Multnomah County District Attorney's Office announced it was reviewing the case with what prosecutors described as fresh eyes. As of 2026, Kyron Horman has been missing for 16 years. He would be 23 years old.
Yeah, that one has been well known in this area for a long time. Some of the details have been kind of forgotten, and some of those are kind of just remembered from the video. But um, you know, it feels like a lot of the evidence points to the stepmom, and it's kind of weird, like why she would do it like that. I mean, what sort of benefit would you get from that? Was he just really that smart and made her feel like really stupid all the time? I don't really know for sure, but it's a terrible story. But it's still, I think it was just like a month or two ago. I remember hearing it's like, oh, it's an anniversary of Kyron Harmon again. It's like, and it's not been solved. And it kind of like the Jean Bonnet has like a little bit of a similarity to that, I guess. As far, I mean, not the same cases, but the fact that no one's ever been charged, like in our recent, it seems like it should have been solved by now. We have enough technology to do it, but apparently not.
Yeah, it's always terrible when kids are involved, and it's even more heartbreaking when there's no conclusion, for the parents, in terms of the, what fate befell their missing children or whatnot. And yeah, I think there'd been been many, and for some reason I also thought the grandmother had been implicated, but yeah, I think the stepmother
Yeah,
kind of like still the prime, and it is just kind of sad that it's still unsolved. And all I can tell you is that I think for a short while, even up to 10 years, after the disappearance, I think there were still people that were thinking that maybe he'd be found alive and living with a different identity.
yeah,
I mean, that would
that's
probably
true.
be the best case scenario, you know?
But it's
But
the least likely scenario. That's the
yeah,
thing. It's like, it's almost impossible if that's going to be this kind of situation. It's kind of a little bit to the Guthrie situation right now with what's the Today Show lady and her mom and all
oh
that. It's
yeah,
like she's
Savannah.
dead. Yeah, she's dead. They're never going to find her probably unless a coyote unearths the remains. Probably won't even do that. So there's certain things that are gonna sort of go into the zeitgeist of our popular culture. Kyron Horman, not quite as high up as the Jean Benet, but definitely, at least in this region, is definitely equal to that, if not more so, because we hear about it every few years. It's like it keeps coming up. It's like, oh, they think they're still trying. It's like, come on. If it was possible for them to do it, they would have done it by now.
For sure. Well, thanks for bringing us back to Portland with that episode, and let us know your thoughts, folks. What among the let's see, actually, so like six examples of the darkest unsolved mysteries here in the good old Pacific Northwest, and in particular Portland, Oregon, resonated with you? Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this content, please give it a like and share it across your socials to help get the word out about our show. If you hadn't already done so, please subscribe. And on YouTube, hit that notification bell to make sure you don't miss out on future episodes. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.